Hello, the Knit Show channel. Hello. I'm Vickie Howell, the creator of the Knit Show, and it has been a minute, let me tell you, since I came on to do a little tutorial. So I thought I would. First of all, I'm going to add a filter because why not? A middle-aged woman should be able to do that. So first of all, I want to just say how thrilled I am that all of you have continued to come to this channel and watch the first season, and let you know that we are working to fundraise for the second season. The other thing that I want to let you know is that I love jewelry. And I promise I'm going somewhere with this. So those of you that have been watching me back through, Knitting Daily and Nitty Gritty and the Knit Show and all of my videos on Facebook and YouTube, you know that I have to come up with something relatively different to wear a lot. And I don't actually have a ton of stuff. So what I do is, it's just, it's a lot. What I usually do is I really play up the earrings. I love big earrings. It's just kind of my thing. So check out these pretty numbers right here. Let me stop for a second. First of all, we are doing a tutorial. What we are going to be doing are making baskets to display gorgeous jewelry. And I'm going to tell you a story about that in a second. But I wanted to just start, again, I've said start like 14 times, with another thing that you also probably know if you followed me anywhere, either, through the shows or for my subscription box, Business Yarn. I love women supporting women. And so whenever I can support another female-run business, I do. And when another female-owned business supports me, I am so grateful. And that is the case today. So this little video is brought to you by Ana Luisa Jewelry, who is also the company behind these amazeball earrings, this beautiful 14 karat gold necklace, and this moonstone ring. So here's the story. So, all right, I already talked to you about how I always love to wear earrings, but I have a couple other things. So one, last year my daughter got a cat. She loves that kitten. Oh, she loves that kitten. That kitten is a little bit of a jerk. I mean, we love her, but she steals things. She's like a puppy. So about 6 months ago, I was taking off my wedding ring and I put it on the table because I was shooting an overhead video, right? She batted it off and I have not seen it since. So I have been wedding ringless for 6 months, which is, sad. I know it's just a thing or whatever, but it's kind of a bummer. So I'm constantly looking at rings to just I'm still holding on hope that I'll find it to have it again, but just a holding place. So when Ana Luisa Jewelry contacted me to ask if I would be interested in partnering with them for a video, one of the things they let me pick out was a ring, which I just showed you. So this is the Janet ring. What I love about it, other than I'm super into gold right now, and I always love a good teardrop shape, is that it's got moonstone in it. Moonstone is associated with great feminine powers of intuition. So maybe it'll help me intuit where my wedding ring is. But it's also just gorgeous. And then these earrings are the Betty Gold earrings. I love geometric shapes, and so pairing them together also with a chandelier style, especially when I've got my business on one side, party on the other side hair, to me that can top off any outfit. Like I'm known for just like a jeans and tennis shoes. Maybe I don't wear a lot of tennis shoes. That was a straight up lie. I wear my Adidas, but I wear a lot of clogs or sandals, but I don't do a lot of big showpiece clothes if I'm not out performing somewhere. So I like a statement earring. This is a statement earring that I would wear in the summer with a dress. I would throw them on with a t-shirt. I would wear them doing a video as I am now. And they're also really lightweight. So this company is in Brooklyn, New York. Like a lot of my friends' businesses, I have a ton of friends who have businesses in New York. Shout out to Ed Roth and Brooklyn Craft Company. But this, they have loads and loads of artisan-made jewelry, and their designers have worked for Kenzo and Ralph Lauren and Tory Burch. I mean, they're legit designers. So if you're interested, give their stuff a look. There's a link that I just put down in the description, and you get $15 off your purchase if you use the code Vickie15. So click on that link, go through. It's about to be gifty time for the holidays. I know that most modern ladies that like a little funky and modern and cool would love to get a gift like this under the Christmas tree or Hanukkah bush or Yule tree or just for whatever. Oh, one more thing. I don't do as many necklaces, but I like something that has a little bit of almost like that, like bespoke India look. You know, it has a very like Marrakesh market look. And this necklace is called Alexa, and it's 14 karat gold. Really simple, kind of anybody could pull this off. I really love that. Okay, so if you've got this jewelry, and one of the other reasons that I told you my ring story is that if I had just put my ring in a tray or on something instead of just a flat surface, I may still have it. And so that is where the idea for these baskets came along. So these are made with just plain old cotton rope. You can find some at the craft store, or you can even just go to the hardware store and get clothesline. That'll work too. Then you'll just need some sock weight. Actually, the weight doesn't matter. But I used sock weight for this so that you can see a lot of the rope through it. The thicker the yarn or the heavier the weight yarn, the less of the rope that you're going to see. I really think it's beautiful. This is superwash wool hand-dyed yarn. So I really love the juxtaposition of this like warm wool and, you know, sort of like unbleached cotton and then cool metal together. I really think it's beautiful to layer materials like that. So these are going to look beautiful in that. So you just need a crochet hook, the yarn, and the rope. And that's really all there is to it. And a needle for later, a tapestry needle. I'll show you that in a second. I want to show you one other thing though. If you want to, you don't have to just use regular yarn. If you want to use fabric, or this is sari yarn from Knit Collage, that's really fun too. I made this tray using it, and as you can see, you almost cannot tell that there's rope underneath, and that's because it's a much thicker fiber, and I used a larger hook, obviously. So it really just, yes, hi Dee, nice to see you. T-shirt yarn would absolutely work. You will not, however, see the rope underneath. So if you're really wanting to play with the, you know, tone on tone or the texture on texture, maybe don't go that route. If you just want to create a really great sturdy basket, then yes, absolutely. Try t-shirt yarn, try fabric, try chunky yarn, just play with it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the camera so that I can show you how to make our holders for our jewelry. I'm going to give you some quick tips on getting started. So I'm going to flip the camera around, you talk amongst yourself, and then we will get crocheting. All right. All set up here. So the first thing that you need to do, and for those of you that watched my Ask Me Monday over on my regular Facebook page this week, this is very much like the Halloween basket I showed. Only, well, two onlys. One is I was using sort of a plastic cording before. This is rope. Rope, I really love how just sort of raw it looks. It's a little bit fussier to work with because of the ridges from the big twist, and it does unravel. I think it's worth it, but just know that going into it. So you're going to start, let's just say let's focus on the little one. The little and the big versions are made exactly the same way. They just start with more stitches, and I'll show you. They are worked from the middle and then all the way around in a spiral. So to begin, you will create a series of crochet chains. Now the number doesn't really matter, but for a smaller basket, I would go smaller, larger, larger, obvious. So for this basket, I believe I started with about maybe 8 chains. And for this one, I think I went up to 20, but you can just experiment. All right, so I'm just going to do 10 just for no particular reason, but just so you can see it. So you would just do your regular crochet chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you need a refresher on crocheting chains, you can just go to the playlist for crochet and you will find help there. Okay, scoot this back. Now this is where we join the two materials. You want to take your rope and have it so it's parallel to the piece that you just crocheted. And just for reference, I'm going to pull this in. We are starting right here. I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to actually take my ring off and place it in there because it's cold here in Austin, so my hands are, my rings are fitting a little big today. You know how your hands don't swell when it's colder? Okay, so I'm just going to set that, and then also I can look at the pretty ring. Okay, so I'm holding them parallel. I want to make sure that I have about 1 inch of this rope just sticking up past it. As you can see, it's starting to fray, and it'll really get in the way if you are trying to crochet around that. So you're going to insert your hook in the second chain from that hook. I realized that my yarn was there for no reason. Okay, so you've inserted your hook. Then you want to make sure to go under the rope with your hook, and you're going to grab that working yarn. The working yarn is the yarn connected to the ball. You'll pull up a loop, so you'll now have 2 loops, and you'll pull through. Now you can see that your rope is attached to your chain. Now you want to just continue to do this until we get to the last stitch of our chain. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So I'm inserting in the next hook. I go under the rope, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. It actually looks like 3 because I was going through under both of the chain, but if you're a crocheter that goes under the nose, it'll just be 2. So you do you. All right, so I'm continuing again under and around. And what's cool is you can make one of these baskets, especially the smaller one, in about an hour. Probably less, really. These are really great for housewarming gifts as well. You know, we've got Thanksgiving here. Well, Thanksgiving just happened in Canada, but here in the States, it's going to happen in about a month. Bringing a couple baskets just to put whatever in is a lovely way to greet a host. Okay, so now we're at our last stitch. We're going to do the same thing. And the first chain is always a little, you know, persnickety, or the first row rather. So if you have to sort of fuss with it a bit, don't worry, that's absolutely normal. But once we get established, it'll be smooth sailing. Okay, so we're going to work the regular stitch, but then we're going to work 2 more in that exact same stitch. What this is doing is creating more fabric for the bend of our spiral. So that means that we have a total, if I can get past this knot, a total of 3 single crochets. If you're in the US, we're single crocheting. If you're in the UK, it's called a double crochet. Now, normally, if you were working with the plastic cord and not with yarn, or excuse me, rope, you could just, at this point, pull this all the way down to cover it. I wouldn't recommend doing that with this rope because it is already unraveling, so I would just snip it just to get that out of the way. Okay, so we're going around the corner now. Now we're going to lay our yarn, our rope, parallel, and we're going to be working in the underside of that original chain now. But doing the exact same thing. And what this is doing is creating our center base. Now, since I'm using just a sock weight yarn, you'll notice it's pretty lacy in the center. If you're using a thick yarn, that won't be the case. Okay, and when you get to your last stitch, actually that's the first one, you're going to work 3 stitches into the exact same stitch so that mirrors what you did on the opposite end. And that will create a piece that is going to be oval without rolling up, without curving. It's spiraling, but it's not curving this way, right? So then from here, all you do for as long as, or as wide and long as you want your base, is you continue all the way around. You work in the stitch, you go under the rope, and you're single crocheting around it all the way to the end until you get to where the 3 are, and then you'll work 3 stitches in that center on both sides. You will continue until your piece is as large as you would like it to be. So for this particular one, I worked about 3 rounds, I think, before I stopped working, increasing. I'm going to pull in another piece. This piece I actually made more circular than oval. I just wanted to show you what that could look like. You can really play around with it. Also pull in this one. This one's more square. The difference with this one is that I worked 2 corners instead of 1 end, so I put 3 stitches there, or excuse me, it would start here. Put 3 stitches, 3 stitches, 3 stitches, 3 stitches, so that I created corners. All right, so let's say that we've decided that this is as big as we'd like it, and now we've worked all the way around and we're back to, I say an end, this is a circle, but let's just call it an end. Now instead of working, we see our 3 stitches in 1 stitch, and normally if we were still wanting our piece to be bigger, in this stitch we would work 3 stitches, but we don't. We want it to start curving up. So we just now, from this point on, only work 1 stitch in every stitch. What that means is that you're not creating extra fabric to give your piece the room to be flat. So that means you can see it's already happening. It will start curving up. And that is literally all there is to it. You can make it as tall or as short as you like. I really like only doing a row or 2 or a round or 2 to get these kind of shallow bowls. I think they're really beautiful. And you would just keep going. I think they're really beautiful. I just love how, I'm going to take this off. I love how my Betty earring looks just hanging out in it. A cat will have a much harder time batting that off. I just think it's really beautiful. All right, so that's all there is to it, with one last tip though. At the end, when you finish off, you may notice, and I'm just going to use this piece for a second. Let's say we're cutting it off. You may want to do a couple extra single crochets right around there. But then, just for good measure, well, you'd probably want to leave a longer tail than I did, but I would take a really sharp darning needle. And I would just thread your tail. And you might just want to whip stitch a few times. That would work a lot better if it hadn't come off. Just to really secure that end, you'll probably still have to trim the fraying of the cord or the rope rather, but as long as you've sort of done the major work, and you can go right in, I would bury it, and that's why using a sharp one, into the rope so that's really securing. And you would just keep whip stitching around until you get, you'll see, it's very rustic looking. Don't look for perfectly clean. When you're working with materials like that, that's just not how it rolls. But you just want to make sure that it's secure, and then you trim it up really quickly. Again, super cute. You can stack them. You can use any materials, and they are perfect for holding jewelry or notions or really anything that you can think of. Ooh, that was a really close view of me. So thank you so much, the Knit Show channel, for hanging out for a little impromptu DIY. I hope that you share your stories of jewelry love and crochet love in the comments section. And please check out Ana Luisa Jewelry. Support their business like they've supported ours. Again, these are my Betty earrings, Alexa necklace, and then, of course, Moonstone. Come on, Moonstone. Give me the power to find my wedding ring. Come on, come on. Thank you so much. Click on the link below, and I will see you soon. Bye.